Welcome to the mind of Lancescurv, the most creatively profound man in cyberspace.
I want to thank you for coming back here to Lancescurv. Always make sure to go to Lancescurv.com. That's my independent website that will have all of my work regardless as to where I am out here in cyberspace. Right now, you're in my own little corner of cyberspace. Today, I had yet another very progressive day. I'm very pleased with the progress of the projects that I have going on. I'm very happy with that. And it just lets me know that life is so broad. You know, sometimes we can be so focused on things, and in our being focused, our perception of time is warped, it's twisted. If you ever have gone to school and had an examination that maybe lasted an hour or two, you're so focused on that. When you're finished, it's like, wait a second, this thing went by so quick. Whenever you're focused on something, the time seems to go by very quick. And why am I saying this? In relation to the title of this particular segment, You Can't Make Memories on Social Media. And most people would say, wait a second, I make memories every day on social media. I'm creating content. I'm engaging with my friends. Yes, you are making watered down memories on social media, but it lacks the human touch. LOLs cannot compare to a really hard, unforgettable belly laugh where your stomach is hurting and you're with the person or people in your group, in your circle, and you're just enjoying yourself so much. See, this is why with the title below, I said, where is the human connection that we once had in abundance? You see, you look at these young men here, and they're sitting on the front steps of one of their homes. They could be brothers, it could be all their homes, but you used to see this a lot back in the day, minus the phones. If you look at the fact that they're not even talking to each other, it might be a momentary thing, but pretty much this is what you see with our youth today, and many of our folks who are mature, who are adults. And it's something missing with this. You see, where is the human connection? Where's the love? Where's the joy? Where's the connectedness? It's stripped these days. You see, like when you have less oxygen and it's harder to breathe, when you go high up on a mountain, it's the same thing. But most people don't feel it because that has been replaced with an artificial element. Cyberspace, social media, it's a disconnect. It's like eating junk food and feeling as though you're nourishing yourself because you feel the rush of sugar in your veins, but it's not nourishing you. It's not true nourishment. It's not real. Our souls hunger for the human connection, for the human touch. And this is why most of us who have a modicum of time, to be sarcastic, not a modicum, but you have to have a good amount of time under your belt. The more and more when you live and you look back on your life, you start to think back about the older days, not the old days, because pretty much even if you're 100 years old, you just got here. When you think about time, when you think about the universe, how long it's been around, we all just got here. We're all just passing through. So how is it that in such a short period of time, the love and the human connection in the atmosphere can be sucked out and void? We don't seem to have the joy that we once had. I'm not an old guy who's just reminiscing on the old days and saying, well, you know, those days were better than these days. I can say that from my perspective, but I will be respectful of the younger age groups and say, when you get older, these days will be the sweeter days, because it's a diminishing amount with each passing year of love in the atmosphere. It was all about the human touch. It was all about being with each other. It was all about the joy that we had with each other at the barbecues and the cookouts and the trips to the beach. It was all about being these three young men, and they could be young ladies also, or a mixture, who didn't need a smartphone to feel as though they were connected. Our attentions are misdirected. Here we have three young men who will look back on this time and think, not that that's all they did, but I'm saying it as a figure of speech. All we did was peer into our phones. There was a beautiful summer day that day around us, but we didn't notice. There were pretty young ladies that we would respectfully talk to. Maybe now it's a little different, but we didn't see them. There were things we could have done with a ball, to play ball, to exercise, to learn our bodies, to push ourselves, and to laugh and play and frolic. But this artificial nutrition of the spirit does nothing for us, because if you look at the faces of those young men, they're not really happy. They're sucking in this artificial atmosphere of AI, of Google, of the internet. And they're seeing other people, for the most part, project a happiness that oftentimes they don't feel. Well, where is the happiness? I've always said that there's something sinister about this artificial intelligence, and there's something sinister about the use of social media. That we're giving it so much, and it's stripping so much away from us, that most often when we look into the phones, we see these types of expressions. Of course, when we see a loved one or someone we haven't connected with in a long time, it's there. But really, there's still a disconnect. Because how many people have you spoken to or reconnected with that you haven't spoken to in years, and you were just glad to see their face, but after a time, it seems easy to let them go or just not message them anymore? We didn't do that when we had the face-to-face communication. If we didn't hear from our friends or the people in our circle, we made sure, if not to call them on a wired line, we would go to their house and ring their bell and say, sister or brother, elder, I haven't heard from you for a while. I just came to check up on you. It's easy to delete and block people. And in some cases, it's very necessary. And in some cases, it's necessary in real life. In some cases, like Trump says, build the wall. That can earn back your privacy when you have neighbors who have a bad mind towards you behind a Colgate smile. But for the most part, it saddens me to see the world the way it is now. It saddens me to see young men and young women who don't have that amount of joy that we had. And yes, back in the day, we had wars, we had poverty, we had racism, we had violence, we had famines, we had accidents that were unfortunate, that took the lives of individuals that seemed to leave too early. We don't know God's plan, but we had all of those things going on. But for the most part, we didn't feel it like many of us feel the stress of today, because the love that we had for us buffered that. It didn't let it stick to us. It's like when you put butter in a hot pan and drop the eggs in there, the eggs will become fried, but they won't stick if you put enough butter. But that butter, that buffer of love is so reduced. Yes, we have it in certain circles. Those of us who know how to preserve it, we know how to preserve it and use social media to our advantage, but we don't give up on the human connection, hand to hand, heart to heart, gaze to gaze, GAZE, to not become mistaken. It's a beautiful thing. It's nutrition for the soul. It nurtures our lives. It seasons our life. Some of us like more seasoning on our food than others. How would you like to not have your food seasoned the way you want? It's a personal preference. But we all have the right to seek out like-minded individuals. It's just so hard now and so challenging to find them because they're hidden and they have been stripped and many have given up. We all know my age. I always say it. I'm soon to turn 61. And I'm happy with that. You know why? Because I keep my life clean from those dark entities who want to bring negativity to me. And I enjoy today. Because we have to realize that today, and I'm talking the present, whatever time you hear this video, whatever time you hear this audio, the bottom line is that today will one day be the past. And in your future, when you look back on today, will you say to yourself, oh, we had a good time not talking to each other, looking into our smartphones? You're not going to get the vibration of life force through a cell phone, through a computer, through a tablet, or whatever device you're using. If you can only ditch those phones and tablets for a day, look your friends in the face and say, let's take a walk. Let's go to a restaurant and have a conversation, a real conversation, with the phones nowhere in sight. Let's go to the park and play with other individuals. I'm speaking as youth now. But even if you're older, you can still go to the park and see someone who may be interested in something through your conversation to try to find the common denominator. A great conversation is such a wonderful thing. And when you speak about the art of conversation, oh, it's ecstatic. But how many of us today have lost the ability to engage in the art of a very nutritious conversation? The art of conversation, the vibration of that conversation, the frequency of that conversation, the power of that conversation that leaves you ready to go to slumber when it's time to go to sleep, and you have joy in your heart as your mind goes over what was said. And it makes you want to go for more, makes you want to explore the world, makes you appreciate people as they are, makes you appreciate yourself as you are. Yes, when we go through certain years in our adolescence, we understand when we look back that we have certain minor insecurities, but we learn to get over them in time. We correct certain things, and there's certain things we can't correct. If you're 5'2" and always wanted to be a basketball player, it may be a harsh reality realizing that it might not happen, right? If you're a very frail person physically, but powerful mentally, you may not be the heavyweight champ of the world. Your physicality may not allow it, but it's okay because you discover things within yourself that are powerful. But how can we do this? How can we find our sense of individuality when we're going for a cookie cutter existence where we have the movie industry, Hollywood, the entertainment industry, pushing out things that have no life, that have no love, that have no stick-it-to-itiveness to keep us together as a people and as human beings and not just merely humankind. Humankind. Human beings will be created one day, if not already. and they're sucking our life from it, and they're using it for something else. The music we used to hear was all about love, togetherness, maybe even a song about a broken heart, which meant you love someone. But now today, all you hear are our women being called out of their name, of how we're the baddest because we have the biggest car, we have the most money, and who we shot. As though this is honor, as though this is something that we're going to look back on with pride, and we wonder why we're looked at in an animalistic way. Many people see us coming, even when we're not on a lower vibration. The masses of people in the world see us this way because of the propaganda put out about us, and we roll with it. And many observe us on these jobs or in our neighborhoods, which should be communities, and say, look at how they treat each other. And this is the stuff that we now put out. It's not the stereotype step and fetch it type stuff anymore, or buckwheat type stuff anymore. Even that was even more innocent. It was entertainment, but it was on a lower vibration because it didn't paint us as intelligent. But what are we doing now with it? We were introduced to the gangster rap and the decadence in the 90s, and some of the good stuff held on in the 90s into the early 2000s, but now it's pushed. And they don't have to push it so hard anymore because we have the ability to make videos of our own. And what do we talk about? I'm not saying everybody. There's a lot of good people out there saying wonderful things, but the algorithms are against that type of content that's uplifting. But when you say something hateful towards your own people, it goes through. When you say something of truth to others who are oppressing you, it's called hate speech. Go figure. So what kind of memories are we making in the present time that we can look back on social media? Years ago, we had book readings where you hold a book and you get up in front of a crowd. Didn't have to be a big crowd. It could be at the park. It could be at the library. It could be on an off day at the church. But we had a premeditated time that we got together on a social and intellectual and inspirational level as a people, but we don't do that anymore. Books are ruled out. See, you can't delete a book unless you burn it or throw it away in the trash. But those who have mastered our minds and control our minds, they know what to push on us on our timeline. They know how to manipulate what we see, which manipulates our mind. It's amazing what's done. And we think we're really living life because of that crack pipe that we hold in our hand called a smartphone and the ability to get on social media. And please don't think this is by chance. It is by design. We're losing each other. We don't have community anymore because the love that is the thread that holds the suit of community together has been taken away. And you know when you have your outfit, your clothes, and it's stitched up just right, tailored to fit you perfect, no matter how good it looks, if the thread is removed that holds everything together, those clothes will soon be on the ground. Where is the love? Where's the respect? Where's the culture? I'll tell you where it is. It's been hijacked. We've been hijacked. And we're no more than the living dead. It used to be where I couldn't wait to get outside to play with my friends. I had chores to do. They had chores to do. When I woke up on a Saturday morning and knew there was no school, but I had chores to do, I may have been tired a little bit. And oftentimes I cut my sleep short so I can get those chores out of the way to go out there and play and ride our bikes and play football or baseball or play tag or race each other. And we laughed and we vibed under the sun. Yes, the ice cream man came around, Mr. Softy. And we all gathered our pennies together. Hopefully our parents gave us a little cash for the ice cream truck. And if for some reason they forgot to do so and had to leave, they were close by. They never abandoned us because, see, we had the whole neighborhood. We had the whole community. Then maybe one of the other parents would say, hey, you don't have it? No problem. I'm going to get this for you. But you can't do that now in the days of social media because you'll be accused of being something that you're not, showing wayward interest to a child because they came in your house and you gave them a meal with your own children. We're looking at each other so sinister. We're looking at each other in such a way where it's not good at all. We're expecting the worst. You can't make good memories on social media. There's so many things that are pumped into our brains that we're exposed to, even as adults who know how to filter the information coming through. It gives us a doom and gloom outlook on the world. So now we don't trust as much as we should. Even though we have many low vibrational people out here, we can trust. But in a way we can't. You know why? Because our gift of discernment, our Holy Spirit, our third eye has been reduced because we don't meditate with ourselves as much as we used to anymore. Our minds are taken away. As soon as we wake up, we don't say a prayer, aka a meditation. We reach with sleepy eyes, often 20 and 30 minutes before we really want to wake up, and we reach for that phone. So it buffers us from the vibration of the world around us, and more so the people around us. The connection is gone. Where is the human connection? We're not getting the nutrition that we need from each other. I did a program several weeks ago titled Touch Starvation. The best example of that is when they did the experiment and showed how the newborn baby who wasn't held as much as the other child in the test, and that newborn baby who wasn't held and told loving things didn't thrive as well as the one who was held. Most of us who are grown, we're starving for the touch. And I don't mean anything on an intimate level as far as sexuality. I mean just a hug. Just a hug. We need to touch each other. We need to be near each other. We need to have a communication and conversation where we can look into each other's eyes. Your gaze is a powerful thing. Why do you think with your smartphone, you can either punch your PIN code in and it opens up? That's okay. You can even put your fingerprint there. It will read it because your fingerprint is as unique as a snowflake, and it will open up the phone. But haven't you wondered or realized when you hold your phone up and look into your phone that it's picking up something from your gaze? When you're hiding from someone, you're playing a game and you're playing hide and go seek. Don't you know it's easier to find you when you're hiding somewhere where I can't see you, but you're looking at me? There's a power in your gaze, and I pick up on it, and I can find you easier. They never found me. I was a brilliant little kid, but I always knew that if I hid in a place where they couldn't find me and I saw them coming, I would look the other way. They wouldn't feel that vibration coming from me. How many times have you walked down the street and it was a sunny day? You were in no rush, but you were walking maybe in the street to the side or even on the sidewalk. It was quiet. Nobody was around. But for some reason, with all the houses on the block, something just made you look up to the third floor of this house to your right, and you saw somebody with the curtains pulled back, and they quickly closed them. You felt the power of their gaze. So how are we going to create the powerful memories that I know about because of the time period that I was born into when we didn't have smartphones? It's not just about the power of touch or the power of the gaze. Those are examples, minor examples. But our presence with each other, we don't have anymore. What we convey as a LOL, yeah, if we had a real experience and we are remembering it, we can laugh about it. But what about the children and the youngsters who are not having the real organic experiences? What are they going to have when they get older? This, what you see in front of you? My friends, my brothers and sisters, my friends that I've known for long and some that I've known for a shorter period of time, but they're still, especially when that comes to mind, still my sister and my brothers. We are so close. It is a blessing. Many of the youngsters and people today will not have what we have. We just bust out and have conversations through the text message, through the voicemail, through FaceTime because we're in different parts of the world, but it's based on something real. And we laugh just as hard. These young men and the young women who are not illustrated here are missing out on so much. Their lives will not be as rewarding. Their lives will not be as sweet. It will not be the same. And I'm not saying that what I had was better, but we didn't have smartphones and technology and AI in this readily available, how can I put it in a decent way, adult visuals that are free that anybody can go in and see. We're not ready for that kind of stuff when we're young. Our children are not having childhoods anymore. Even if you think they're innocent, and I'm not saying they're bad, but it's a curiosity that our youngsters have. And there are many things offered up for them to find that they should not be looking at. They're not mature enough to deal with. The bodies may function in that way, but their minds and their emotions and their hearts are not ready for that. What kind of memories are they making on social media? Not the powerful, organic memories that will last and stand the test of time. No, they won't have that as long as they have this gadget in their hand and everything that emulates that. We had rallies. We had meetings. We had protests. These days, we're so caught up being hypnotized by this gadget that something bad happens to us as a people. We may rouse up a little bit and make a little noise, but guess what? For the most part, it's always on social media. It's never together, which renders it impotent, which renders it to be harmless. We talk, but we don't get out and do. All of the friends that you have on Facebook, do you really know them? There might have been somebody that looked good to you and you requested to be a friend to them, and they allowed you in and they don't know you. They walk past you in the street and they don't know you, and you don't know them because they're made to look a lot different because of the filters. You meet people physically that you've talked to for a while on social media, and the both of you are standing at the designated spot and can't even recognize each other because of the filters. We can be perfect now on social media. We can use the AI photos or the photo filters to enhance our real photos and make us look just pristine. Why are we vying for the fake world? Why does it have us this way? We're losing ourselves. We're born into this world to give off a vibration, to bring it higher. to bring the love vibration, as Brother Michael Hamer would always say. He gave us that vibration, and we understood. But see, the thing is, the negative forces in this world love AI and love social media, because as long as it can push out the lower vibrational content that we feast on and never nourish our soul to love each other, those entities will always have control over us and always keep us oppressed in so many ways. Black people, you talk about oppression, but it's not just the one way that we're used to speaking about. Now it has grown and expanded, and that's why you have to grow and expand yourself and your minds and your outlook, instead of rah against the old points that we would make that are still there. Yes, but we should have conquered that a long time ago, because what we're dealing with now is much more formidable, is much more threatening, is more deadly. We should have gotten over certain things, meaning that we should have gotten over the distrust, the Willie Lynch attributes that we have. We should have conquered that, because now it's even worse. We still haven't unified, and because of that, we don't have a chance. And I'll extend that to all members of the human family. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. There's butter between you, the egg, and the pan, and you will never stick. You'll never feel. Our minds are messed up. You're with the person you're with, and you're thinking about somebody else. When was the last time that you had a home-cooked meal that had the vibration of love inside of it? The stimulation coming from social media is the equivalent of fast food. You're getting the calories, but you're nowhere getting the nutrition that you'd get from the home-cooked meal. We used to be home-cooked meals for each other. We can meet a stranger who shares the same culture, and because we love the same songs and memorize the lyrics of that song, we found a camaraderie with each other that we can build on. But your enemy understands that. So that's why he had to step in and keep us from communicating with each other by hijacking the music, hijacking the entertainment, where we see each other in a way that we hate. The gangster rap. Our women are not respected. Well, look how they dress them up in the movies. Look how they dress up in the videos, and look how many are putting themselves out there like that, not knowing what is happening, that they're tearing the very fabric of our very powerful humanity. And it's weakening. It's becoming brittle. I can't tell you how long it's going to last. It's severely damaged already. I can only hope that there's enough of us who would remember these times. I yearn for that time. You look at the entertainers back then. Yes, many had their problems and their issues, but look at a brother like Michael Jackson, who was so pure, who the world accused him of doing some wicked things. Such a pure, loving soul. Yes, some may say he's eccentric, but he didn't have a childhood. He wanted a childhood so bad. The very things that we may feel we're deficient in are the very things that we go after. If you grew up in a home under your parents or whoever raised you, and it was clutter and junk and piles of stuff that didn't have to be there, that shouldn't have been there unnecessarily, is it any wonder why now when you have your own place, you're a minimalist? Everything has to have a purpose. very few things. Sometimes a platform bed and a phone, not on the side table, but on the floor. You go to your kitchen. You might have 2 plates to eat from, but you usually have 1. You don't have a lot of cutlery because it's only you. And you may make amends for a guest and have put something else away. That everything is a minimalistic thing for you because of your upbringing. How has our upbringing affected us today? I have music in my soul. I have light in my soul because of my upbringing, which aside from my brother who was on drugs, it didn't affect me in a major way. It only affected me in my desiring a relationship with him. But other than that, my childhood was really, really, I hate to say perfect, but when I compare to what I see, if it's not 100%, it's 99.99. I learned lessons. I felt loved. I was encouraged. I was undergirded in anything I wanted to do as long as it was righteous. I was supported, and I felt a loving ache in my heart, in my home. As I dozed off to go to sleep, or I took my time waking up, I would hear the wonderful conversations between my parents, the love between them. This is why I have so much love in my heart to give, because I was saturated in that. I didn't hear lyrics that was so negative. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Michael Jackson, all of the old artists, the Temptations, even groups that sung realistic situations into their songs about breakups, or even Marvin Gaye. He reflected the time. And those songs that he sung back then are applicable to the present. But guess what? If Marvin Gaye was alive today and sung about reality and sung the song, What's Going On, it would have to go on 5 times longer than the original version. What's going on? Men don't want to be men. Women don't want to be women. People are mixed up. We're so split up. Marvin Gaye grew up in a time where we had more love for each other, even though we had haters. We didn't use that word. There was jealousy back then. Yes, it was. There was exploitation. There were men who used women. We understand that, but it's not like it was today, or is today. It is epidemic. The lack of love in today's world is truly the real pandemic. We're running around wearing a mask on our face. But the sad part about it is that even though we've removed the physical mask, many of us still wear a mask on our face, the fixed expression of what we want the world to see, which is totally and diametrically opposed to what we're feeling on the inside. But yet we say, don't call me crazy, I'm not nuts. But we're driving ourselves crazy because we can't deal with reality, but we readily embrace and soak up and plunge ourselves in to the cyber world. Something that'll never give us anything back. There's nothing in the cyber world that will emulate a grandmother's hug, a mother's hug, a father's hug. There's nothing on social media and with artificial intelligence that can copy that first time that you had a crush on the opposite sex and you had a chance to just hold them close to you and feel your heart beat and the joy of holding their hand and the joy of going to the jewelry store back in the day. I'm not advocating that now, but this is what we did. We bought a nice bracelet, what we could afford, and we give it to them as a token of our love. The countless hours on the phone that we would spend where nobody wanted to hang up because it was a violation if you did. You hang up. No, you hang up. I'm not hanging up. You hang up first. It got to the point where we'd fall asleep on the phone and wake up and hear the other person either breathing or snoring. And we still felt that pleasant ache in our heart. What happened to those days? You can't make those days happen through social media and those situations happen. You can't. You're missing out. They say it's technology, but it's taking knowledge, the knowledge of the love that we once have or had and that we can't have. I jumped the gun when I said have too early. But yet we keep on sucking from a nipple that has no nutrition for us. We don't even breastfeed anymore. Similac, Enfamil, or whatever else is out there. So we're starting off as sitting ducks for the cyber world to take over. Because it's not just milk from the mother's breast that we use. And we need. Of course we need that. That is the perfect food for us. There's no concoction out there that man can make. There are things in the breast milk that man doesn't even know about yet, but he doesn't want us to have that because he doesn't want us to have the connection to our mothers. So we come out deficient, shot up with their vaccines. As soon as they come out of the womb, they snatch our children, take them away somewhere. The first moments where that child should be on the mother's breast, still feeling the heartbeat, the same one that you heard when you were in the womb. Now they got their greedy little paws on them. God knows what they're doing and pumping your children up with. They're virgin systems that are not made for heavy things and chemicals and heavy meat and artificial engineered food, which is not food. But as they get older, it's easy to attach themselves to the so-called smartphone. Because, once again, they're sucking on a nipple that has nutrition. So our expressions of love may be a heart, maybe an emoji, an image. Now young men can have 5 to 10 or more girlfriends because the young ladies only settle for a text. You didn't text me today. But what about a phone call? What about a visit? Maybe you're busy. It may not be every day. But you don't have to spend time with anybody anymore. Just send them a text message and they're happy with that. Because they have been acclimated to the artificial world that will never make a lasting memory. Oh, how sad it will be when some get older and realize that they piddled their life away. That's like going to the ATM to put a card in, to punch a PIN code in and take out some money, and you make paper airplanes out of it and throw the money around. What you've earned or what you've accrued through investments will be of no value to you when you throw it away. And those memory slots that you have in your brain will be empty, collecting dust in a sense, because you didn't utilize it. This is nothing what you see. It's even worse than that. The idle minds of our youth falling into bad habits and bad practices because they don't know the joy of wholesome living. And again, I'll say it again. Many of our parents or their parents, not my parents, are guilty for giving them a gadget to shut them up. The same way they would stick a false nipple in their mouth and the child just suck it and nothing comes in their mouth. Same thing. We get older and older and we learn not to be connected. We'll make do with very little because we don't know any better, these youngsters. And some of us who are older have succumbed to the seduction of social media and cyberspace. You have grown, mature women who are not used to so much attention from the opposite sex. And while they may resist it for a while, after a time, they fall victim to it. And they find themselves in all types of situations that younger women, younger girls, and young teenage girls find themselves in from lack of experience. But take, for example, a woman who was never really told that she was beautiful. You have these men who are predators who keep bombarding them with compliments, and they know how to use the words to use them. So it's not just the youth, right? You have all types of people out here who you don't know, but you'll create bad memories when you get them in your life because they presented such a perfect package. That's what it's all about now. Oh, let's use a filter to remove that pimple. Let's use a filter on Instagram to make me look 20 years younger. I refuse. Look, I got a couple of lines in my neck. I got a couple razor bumps. I'm missing a couple teeth. I'm not going to change. I am who I am, and I'm happy within myself. I'm confident as I am. But you can't get that when it's so easy to escape, especially when you're in your adolescent period of normal insecurities. That's taken care of now. You can be who you want to be now. You can present yourself any old kind of way. It's one big life of Halloween and the costumes, and I can be who I want to be because I'm not happy with who I am. See, back in the day, we had to face ourselves. If I wanted to get in shape, I had to go to the gym. If I wanted to lose weight, I had to eat properly. If I wanted a shot at speaking to a dignified young lady, I had to know how to be a gentleman. I had to know how to have manners, and I had to know how to have a good conversation to keep her mind interested in who I am. The conversations that I hear many of our youth have today, and sadly, many of our grown folks. How do you think you look presenting yourself that way? A lot of us don't even care anymore. A lot of us don't even know who we are. And it's not just the adolescents. This thing called social media and cyberspace has been around us for a very long time. Really and truly. But time has gone on so fast, we don't realize it. Year after year, post after post, reply after reply, picture after picture, video after video that we put out in an engineered way, but it's not impromptu. It's not spur of the moment. We don't catch those. We make sure. I know young ladies, and I'm not just throwing off on the young ladies, but I know young ladies who take the same picture from the same angle every single day and put it on their Facebook page or their Instagram, and the same fake smile, but a different outfit and a different background. We don't have to work hard to be the best we can be. The filters take care of that. The background change takes care of that. You've never been to Paris? Well, you can put a background with the Eiffel Tower behind you. You've never been to New York City? Well, you can find yourself in Times Square with a false background behind you. So we don't know who we're dealing with when we're dealing with these people. Most of the people you know are not your friends. They're just voyeurs watching your life, who oftentimes will become emotionally attached to you and you don't even know it. And it's not always a good thing. And when I say emotionally attached to you, jealousy and envy most of the time, as they peer into your world and you manufacture a larger than life persona and you put it out there. So you have people who don't even know you, who are comparing themselves to you. And not only that, but they're competing with you. How about that? Isn't it sad? what this world has become. But I think it's even more sad that we've allowed that thread out of our garment to be pulled away. So the very factions of us has fallen. Just like the old saying on the radio that they would say over and over again, I've fallen and I can't get up. Is what happened to us? Can we get up? Can we come back? I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. I really don't know. The entities out there that have worked on us so much to turn us against each other, they're doing a damn good job. I don't mean good like it's good, like I like it and it's positive. It's good in a sinister, evil way. Like the minister Farrakhan spoke of Adolf Hitler and said he is wickedly great. And I understood what he meant when he said that. These people who want to suck the life force out of us, keep us under control, keep us feeling hopeless. And see, many people years ago would say, oh, Lance, you're paranoid. It's not going to be like that. I'm not saying we're at the scorecards already and the fight is over and it's a foregone conclusion. I'm not saying that. But the time has moved on. And I do feel that we are behind on points. And we're getting closer to the final round. What are we going to do? Are we going to love each other? Are we going to cultivate that love vibration between each other to create good memories that even when we're older and elderly, it'll keep a smile on our face when we think back at the life that we lived? Just standing next to a pretty girl to make yourself seem more desirable, is that going to help you? Or going out to the shopping mall and standing next to a Lamborghini that doesn't belong to you and having your friend take a picture of it so you can upload it to fool people? Is it a wonder why nobody will love us as we are? Because we're not presenting ourselves as we are. Why are we doing that? Why do we hate ourselves so much? Why can't we deal with the brilliant way that our Creator made us? Don't you understand how brilliant you are? Don't you understand that anything you want the answer for is already inside of you? But you have to know how to connect with that great thing, those attributes, those seeds of greatness that are inside of you. But the technology has us looking everywhere else but inside. We're walking around and don't even know who we are. So how are we going to respect ourselves, and how are we going to demand respect from those who don't want to respect us, from those who are envious of us and know who we are? And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's really sad out here. And I don't like it, because the world that I come from, the world that I'm used to, that root world where, yes, we had issues, we had challenges, but I felt so much more love. So once again, I'm not an old dude who's talking about the old days, an old corny dude. But we used to take care of how we looked and how we presented ourselves. Our diction, how we spoke, how we communicated. Now, ignorance seems to be the norm. We gravitate toward the lower things, the lower vibrations, and our world is becoming a very, very sad place. And what do we want our children? Why are we giving them this technology and not having that conversation around the dinner table? Yes, I know a lot of us work different hours. It's a 24-hour world that we live in now, and I understand that. But why can't we structure our lives so that this social media doesn't become cheap filler to the subconscious minds of our youth and of our world? Where you see the physical child that you brought into this world, but when you speak with them, you realize you're speaking to something else. They are now the manifestation of artificial intelligence. And I will say it like I say it all the time. Something has arrived to this world that's not of this world, that's not of this spiritual plane, that wants to emulate us and replace us and is envious of us and has worked along with the powers that be to keep this cyber Ouija board of social media going, to influence us. It could be good, and some of us know how to use the inner filter that we're born with of discernment to use it and not get sucked into it. I'm on it every day. I use it every day. It ain't getting me. I'll tell you that much. It ain't getting me. I'm not going to walk too close to a alligator infested lake to the point where they feel they can get me. I know how to keep my distance. I know how to keep the original rhythm of my original life from back in the day where my root is to the present day. I know how to feed that vibration to keep me alive and jolly and happy. Yes, I'm human. There are days that I feel a little down, but I tell you, the bottom line is the love that I've always felt and the people that are precious to me, that vibrate with me, I still have it, my lifeline. And the memories I have, social media has nothing to do with. And the present memories that I'm making, social media has nothing to do with that. It's a tool and nothing else. Learn how to live. Learn how to love, learn how to vibrate, and learn how not to settle for neighborhoods, but strive for community. Much love to you all. I hope you enjoyed my words. They were shot from the hip because there's a lot of love in my heart, so I don't have to pretend. And I'm not letting this present day world and system take it away. Much love to you all. Lancescurv out. Make sure to go to Lancescurv.com and check out all of the old work that we've been doing all over the years. I think you'll appreciate it. Much love to you all. Peace.
Hello, this is Martha. Actually, today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, he's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just human, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels, you got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to Lancescurv. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.
Make sure to go to Lancescurv.com, an online magazine established in 2001, containing written articles, thousands of talk shows and discussions, cutting-edge cartoons, as well as erotic expressions and tasteful adult photography. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Once you get a taste of the world of Lancescurv, trust me, you'll be back for more. Lancescurv.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.